Hi friends, good to be with you for just a few moments in your devotional time. My name is Scot Longyear, and I'm excited just to be able to hang out a little bit. And as we get going, let's go to Mark chapter 5. I want to meet in Mark chapter 5 and talk about an episode in the life of Jesus. So if you've got a Bible on your phone or your iPad or your old school with the Bible, Mark chapter 5 is where we're going to be. As you're turning there, let me just tell you this. I just want to say thanks for the work that you're doing. I know that the hours are long. I know that the frustrations are very high. I know that sometimes what's actually happening is different than maybe what you think should happen. I know that it's difficult in the places where you're working, and some days you probably think that you're not doing a whole lot, and I know that it's very costly. And I just want to say thanks for that. And I'm reminded that the ministry of Jesus is actually costly. It's often not easy. I remember when I first was thinking about going into ministry, I had sometimes every now and then I thought, oh man, it's just glamorous, it's just great. And then I got in ministry on the inside and I'm like, what? This is actually costing me not only money, I knew it would cost me money, but it's costing me time, it's costing me frustration. It may be knocking some years off of my human life. I don't know. It's just not as easy as I thought it was going to be. It's going to cost you something. Ministry is going to cost you something. And in Mark chapter 5, we find this episode in the life of Jesus where some people had to decide if Jesus was really worth the cost. And it came in a little bit different form, a different story than you might think. So just follow me. Let's meet Mark chapter 5, and let's go to verse 11. Here's what it says. Jesus rolls up on this guy who's demon-possessed, right? And so the demons come to him and say, throw us out and don't cast us out, but cast us into these pigs. And so Jesus is like, okay, which is so weird, but Jesus says, okay, I'm gonna extract this demon from this guy, but I'm going to throw it into these pigs. And so it says in verse 11 of Mark 5, a large herd of pigs were feeding on the nearby hillside, and the demons begged Jesus, send us among the pigs and allow us to go into them. And so Jesus gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Those tending the pigs, who were in trouble because the pigs that they were just watching completely died. How's that for a day? Hey, I was watching your pigs. I know you're paying me to watch the pigs. Yeah, how they doing? They're dead. Well, what do you mean? A couple of them died? No, they're all dead. They're all gone. So the guys tending the pigs ran off and reported this to the town and the countryside. And the people went out to see what happened. And when they came to Jesus, they saw that the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there, he was dressed and in his right mind. They were afraid. Man, that would freak you out, right? And then look at verse 16. Those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man. And we're told about the pigs as well. And so then you would think like, man, the people would like fall at the feet of Jesus and say, yes, man, what an awesome Jesus that this guy who was demon possessed is now healed. He's now done. He's now restored. What a beautiful thing. But here's what it says in verse 17. Then the people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. What? Why would they plead with Jesus to leave their region? I mean, he just healed a guy that had demon upon demon upon demon in him. Jesus pulled the demons out of him. Now this guy's in his right mind. He's restored. He's transformed. You would think that their reaction would be, I want to praise this Jesus. God, thank you for coming. Can we build you a house in our village? Could you stay here? Because you're the one that changes things that we thought couldn't be changed. But instead they say, hey, Jesus, would you leave? Why? Why would they ask Jesus to leave? Because Jesus was ruining their economy. Because the cost of having Jesus among them was very, very great. It just cost them 2,000 pigs. Now that's a lot. And they just decided, you know what? We would rather have a good economy than have Jesus. We would rather it not cost us anything than have Jesus. And sometimes we have to decide, do we want this to cost us something or do we want Jesus? Listen, I know that you're in a tough place. I know that you're running up against difficult things. But here's a reminder, guys. The cost of following Jesus is high. The cost of following him is gonna be difficult some days. Jesus says when we come after him, we have to leave family. He's called us to great sacrifice. All right. So here's a hard thing I just want to say to you, and it's this: when you come up against the hard things of the day, When you come up against exhausting hours, when you come up against frustration upon frustration upon frustration, know this: the kingdom costs you something. The movement costs you something, and you have to decide. Am I going to stick it out? And am I going to welcome Jesus? Or am I going to say, I'd rather you just go away and it not cost him anything? Listen, if the days are too long, if the frustration is too high, then quit. Then quit. You say, well, I can't quit because Jesus has called me here. Well, then if he's called you there, then you say, thank you, Father, that you've called me into this time. Thank you that even though I'm exhausted, you've equipped me for these days. And I'm choosing you over comfort. I'm choosing you over my economy. And I realize that following you, God, is costly. But I will say this, God, you're worth what it costs. You're worth what it costs. So as you're living out the mission of Christ, as you're literally helping people take a step closer to Jesus, my hope and my prayer is that you're doing it in such a way that honors the Father, knowing that it costs you things. And listen, he's going to reward you. He's going to continue to reward you. But just know that the kingdom moves forward at a great cost. Thank you for being willing to pay the price to move the kingdom forward. God bless you guys.